Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Marilee Orsini, and I'm Managing Director of CoreCubed, and I would like to welcome you all today for this webinar on using a content management system when you're building a website. We have everyone who is attending today on mute, and that's really for housekeeping. That way we eliminate the background noise and everyone can enjoy the workshop more because you're not having to listen to the phones ringing and all the extraneous noise that happens. However, if you do want to ask a question, and we will be answering questions at the end, go to the right-hand side of your screen and you can either go in the chat mode or you can actually ask a question, and we will get to those. And if you have any trouble, I'll be monitoring while we're having the workshop, so I will try to pay attention to the questions if you have them along the way. So let's get started. This is the importance of planning when you're building a content management-based website. And we have two wonderful resources today with us. One is Daniela Compton. She is our Interactive Design Manager for CoreCubed, and an absolute delight to have on staff. She has a combination of web development and design in her background and has worked with a lot of different clients, small business, corporate, and media clients, and she really knows ExpressionEngine. Most of you know that technology, as it changes rapidly, is changing, and that's the same is happening with how people build websites and how Google is analyzing the websites and how rankings are done. So there's a lot of information to know about having a website and about going to market with a website, and a lot of it starts with deciding which platform to use and also finding a team that works with you in order to bring your business's goals to life. The second presenter here is Tammy Brown, and she's the creative director here at CoreCubed. And she is really a unique individual, one of the most incredible individuals I've met, and she's been with us a long time now. I think this will be her 11th year. And she has a very interesting combination of skill sets. She understands strategy. She's probably the world's best problem solver, but she also has a great eye for design. And her project management skills, I've never found anyone who's a better project manager than her. And she really has a wide range of experience now, from just very small businesses to pretty, we've got medium businesses, but really some pretty big businesses. And really her creative thinking and problem solving are the things that are the best. Now, we have asked for questions from you all when you signed up, and so some of these are questions from you all and some are questions from others. So I'm going to start this with asking Danielle to answer 3 questions for me and for you all, and then if we've missed these questions, that your burning questions, we'll get to those at the end. But Danielle, what is ExpressionEngine exactly?
Well, first I'd like to say hi to everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's exciting to be here and participating in the webinar. Like Marilee said, we're going to talk about ExpressionEngine. So ExpressionEngine mainly is a platform that's used to build a website on. It is a content management system that allows you to make changes to the content through a web-based login area so that it's easy for you to change text, images, pretty much anything that you have up on the site that you would want to change regularly, blog posts, things like that. So that's what ExpressionEngine is. It's a content management system that allows you to do all of that.
Excuse me. Now, every time we get a web job in, we go over what it should be programmed in. Should it be programmed in WordPress or should we use ExpressionEngine? So, and as a web developer, Danielle, what is it about ExpressionEngine that makes you like it so very much?
Well, there's 4 main things that I really like about ExpressionEngine. The first thing is the power and flexibility of the system. It is very robust in what you can do when you're building a site, and the flexibility is amazing. You can go in and change things as you need to. You can add on. There's a lot of modules and add-ons available as well that allow you to extend the functionality behind it. The second thing would be the security and stability of ExpressionEngine. they've been in business for 10 years now, and they have yet to have any major security breaches within their system. So that's a nice, appealing aspect to the platform as well. The third thing I really like is that there are no design compromises when working with ExpressionEngine. It's an open templated system which allows you to pretty much design your site however you want it to look without any restrictions from the CMS itself of how the functionality will work based on your design. And the last thing I really love is that support is included for it. It's not necessary. It's based on an open source platform, which means a lot of people help develop it, but it is backed and supported by an actual company, so you do have support included whenever you purchase a platform like this.
I mean, that's an interesting thing. We didn't have this question up, but there is a license fee that is charged when someone goes to ExpressionEngine. So that's the first step, right?
Right. It is a commercial product, aside, which is different from some of the other CMS tools out there that are open source that you can use for free. This one is a commercial product, so there is a license associated with it. But coming along with that, you are getting a company that's been in business for years that does support the product, which helps a lot if you run into issues.
Right, good. I'm just going to have you back up one little bit, because can you just sort of do a basic of what is content management system? What is a CMS?
Sure, absolutely. A content management system is a tool that is used to bring editing capabilities to the client that owns the website. So technically, you don't have to be a developer or a web designer to easily make changes to your site. So if you're using a content management system, you can go to a specific URL on your website, like for instance, corecube.com/admin, and you log into a web-based system that allows you to make changes to your site. You can update things like text. You can add new images to a photo gallery or images right into a blog post. You can add new pages. You can add blog entries, testimonials to your site. There's a lot of different things that can cover. All of your data is stored in a database, so you're not dealing with files or code or anything like that. And then, of course, it works really great with search engines. So all of your data is displayed in a nice, clean, organized way so that the search engines can crawl your site. And all of that is done kind of out of your hands, because all you have to really focus on is your content and your text itself.
Okay, good. And so when you have a choice, how do you pick when ExpressionEngine is the best choice as opposed to other CMS platforms available?
Well, one of the big things that we like to look at when we're approaching a site is, how scalable is it going to need to be in the future, and how much data and organization is really needed for the site. Is it a more advanced site, or is it a more basic site? And when we get into these more advanced sites that need a little bit more power behind them, we tend to lean towards ExpressionEngine because it does give us a lot more flexibility. Scalability is another word I'd mentioned. That's one thing we like to think about in terms of which way we're going to go. ExpressionEngine is very scalable, so you can always add on a forum if your site needs a forum. You can add on shopping abilities, different things like that, without having to go back to square one and redesign anything. And another thing that I really like when dealing with what we're going to choose is the ability of managing multiple websites in one ExpressionEngine installation. So if you own 2 or 3 websites, but it's all managed within one company, you only log into one area, which allows you to choose which site you want to edit, and you can make edits to all of your sites, without having to have multiple logins or multiple areas to manage.
Good. Very, very well explained. Well, let's move over to some questions for Tammy now. And again, if you all have any questions that come up while either Danielle or Tammy is talking, please write them, and we'll answer them at the end of this workshop. And we are, by the way, going to take you to some live sites, so we will do that as soon as we answer some of these basic questions. Okay, Tammy, you are absolutely wacko about ExpressionEngine, and as a project manager, what is it that makes you so fond of this program?
Probably the primary reason I love ExpressionEngine so much goes back to what you said about me being a problem solver. the websites of today are getting more robust, more interactive. Clients are coming to us with wanting their websites to do a lot more than they wanted even 2 years ago. And when I get a laundry list of what someone wants in a site, anything, over and above a brochure site, so, the photo galleries and consistent, like event postings and, different things going on with what they're expecting to be done, ExpressionEngine really is an excellent tool at helping to solve a lot of what would need to be figured out. Pretty much anything that can be done on a website, I feel very confident in saying that ExpressionEngine has the ability to do, and we've certainly been able to show that in some of the sites we've done recently.
Well, and I know that in the very beginning, I've heard you say over and over again about this planning component. And so my next question to you is basically that website plan. What makes it so important that that website plan be nailed down prior to actually starting to do the development on the website?
Definitely, that to me is like the roadmap for the project, and you have to plan the journey, and you can't take it a mile at a time. You have to go from A to Z in terms of your planning and get that all documented. It's a highly collaborative process with the client to, get what they're wanting and what can be done with the program. And by the end of the plan, it's a very comprehensive document in terms of what that site will be. And it is a great starting point for the designer to start with to do the prototype designs, so everything is taken into account during the design mode and then building out mode.
Okay, well then I'm going to make you go a little bit more detailed here and tell me what is exactly involved in those website plans that you do, and how do you determine a starting point, and how do you determine when you're finished?
Starting point, I have, over the last 15, 16 months of working ExpressionEngine sites with CoreCubed, I learn something new every time I do a job in terms of what planning should be done in the beginning. And so I have got a template that I start with all the scenarios, like all the variations of planning that we need to do. And my starting point is usually with the client. It'll be a call to go over, do they have a site now or do they not? And then if they do, what are they looking to change? Are we going to be writing content or not? Should there be a heavy emphasis on SEO or just the baseline? Because depending on that answer dictates what you do with the text and some things in the back end. And then navigation, like what is the navigation of the site going to be? What's the positioning of that navigation? How are we going to cross-link within the site, bring up that interactiveness level? And then what things need to be showcased on the site? So what are those like call to action areas or areas that the client really feels are the most important to get the attention? Because how you design a site, and which does come to planning, is what are people going to see first, second, and third? You don't want to overwhelm them with 10 things and think that they're going to pick the one thing you want them to pick. And so it's all a process of just trying to guide the user experience to the ultimate goal of getting inquiries off your site and then converting those inquiries to business.
Okay, very good, and good answers to those questions. So I hope everyone is learning as we're moving through here. Now, I asked both Danielle and Tammy to please tell me what their favorite sites were, and I asked them to pick two. And so I'm going to change the presenter now, and I'm going to give the presentation to Danielle, and she's going to show you a couple of her favorite sites that she's actually designed in ExpressionEngine.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Alrighty. Well, the Art Alliance for Contemporary Glass is definitely one of my favorite ExpressionEngine websites. One of the things that I really like about this site is the amount of customization we were able to do for them on the back end. They like to showcase a lot of work by different artists, as well as collections of art, of glass art that is shown all over the country. So that was two of the biggest things related to this site. And the other big thing was the ability to register and pay for events that they are hosting or that they have going on. So just looking through the site, just a general overview. On the home page, you can see we have feeds to their news section, as well as feeds to their upcoming events. This main feature here features their latest artist of the month. So this is the one for January. You can scroll through these, or when you click on it, it takes you into that actual artist featured page. And when you get in here, you can see more information about this artist, as well as any artists from the past. What was really nice about building this in ExpressionEngine is that we were able to really get into detailed information about each artist specifically, and we can customize what is shown and what is not shown and different things like that. So this was really a fun project to work on for that reason. We're using a number of custom templates in here. As you can see, this one's a full width template. When you get into any of the content pages, we're introduced to a sidebar, which allows you to browse through other pages within a specific section. And then whenever we get into our collections, we're looking at another template design that we worked with as well. So that's nice. Like I said, we said before about not having to compromise on design. This is definitely one of those sites that we were able to design multiple pages for, and then build the functionality of the content management system around the design itself. And these collections go into individual collections within themselves that you can browse by room or area of the collection itself. They have a really nice sitemap feature on here. This was very important for AACG to allow people to easily find what they're looking for because their site is very content heavy. They have a lot of information on here, so they wanted to be able to easily send people where they needed to go without having to search for things. And they are using a lot of pop-ups and different things like this to display artwork. So it worked out really nice. They have a lot of really nice stuff to showcase on this site. So.
I wanted to mention one other thing, though, Danielle, too. The administrator for the Art Alliance for Contemporary Glass was not that she wasn't computer literate, because she is computer literate, but didn't have any background at all in doing anything on the web. And the site had been, not this site, but the old site had been maintained by someone, started and maintained for years. So I think so what you see now is really someone who didn't have a background in design able to actually maintain this. And she didn't have that many training sessions, right? Didn't you all just do 2 or 3 training sessions? And then she's really figured out, I mean, because it's pretty easy, as I understand, how to make, like adding new collections in and adding the new artist photos and those things. A lot of this is stuff she's done herself, correct?
Yes, we had minimal training with her. She did all of her own content population. So sometimes when we do new sites, we're moving everybody's information over for them. In this instance, we were not. She was doing the content population almost simultaneously at the same time that we were designing sections. So we would design a section of the site, get it coded and set up, and she was going in and populating each section as we were developing it. So this site was being populated and developed all at the same time so that we could get the site up and running a little quicker than we normally would for a site this large. But no, she did not know HTML or anything like that, nor did she need to in order to edit a lot of what's going on here.
Right, very, very impressive to cite, and I would agree it is one of my favorites as well. So you did a fabulous job on designing this, and congratulations.
Thank you. Let's see. The other site. The next site that I really had a good time working on that's an ExpressionEngine site is the D&W Silks website. These guys were a long-time client of CoreCubed, and they needed a new look to their site. But their site's a little bit special because they do not allow access to their collection of products to anybody outside of their membership group. So in order to see the majority of the content on the site, you do have to register and then gain access to it. So it was a very clean, basic site. So it was easy to build. The majority of this work went into the back-end registration process for members. So in order to, like I said, in order to see the collections, you have to be signed in. So when you do go into the product collections, they're organized by the type of product that you want to look at, and then you can filter down in. So then when you get into the main product catalog like this, then you can click on each picture to see specific information about the product itself. So this was a big part of the development in this project, as well as managing the member profiles, for people to be able to update their user settings and things like that, without anybody from D&W having to step in and help set that up. Before, what they had to do was somebody had to request access, and then they had to give them access. Now it's all automated, which makes their life a lot easier. But other than that, the majority of their site is very basic. A lot of it was really spent on building this nice, robust collection of products. Also, another really nice feature of this site is that whenever they add new products to their catalog, we're able to do a mass data import, which means we can take an Excel spreadsheet that has all of the information in it in regards to the type of product that it is, what category it belongs to, what subcategory, the description, the price, all of that information, and we can just import an Excel spreadsheet, which then populates the entire catalog. So those are my...
I was going to say, we've come a long way with D&W Silks, and I'll tell just a quick, hopefully not offensive and funny anecdote about this. When I went, and I ended up doing the initial meeting with them, and this was years and years ago, and they were taking photographs, not even digital photographs, but regular photographs of all of their product in a group, and that's how they, and doing a print catalog. So after that meeting, and then Tammy and I met after that, and what we said is, if you would take individual pictures of each product, and if you would do them digitally, then you would have control over the products, because if they would have 7 or 8 products, and 2 or 3 might be obsolete and some favored, but there was no way to break those out. So we literally saved them tens of thousands of dollars in that, from that first meeting into when they started working with us. And so this is really a wonderful, wonderful iteration of where that process of delivering products out to the to their distribution channels has come. So you did a great job.
Right, and their traffic too has gone through the roof with the new site. They have loads and loads of member registrations daily, and also going back to what you mentioned about the time and the money they've saved, Marilee, implementing this new system has taken them from hours to update the catalog and sometimes days to minutes, because the main Excel spreadsheet that's used to import everything, you only have to update one file and then run the import, and that's it. So it doesn't take very long at all to update their catalog now.
Well, and to put it in perspective, we did major edits quarterly on the old website, and the cost of those combined edits in a year was more than what the website redo was. Plus, now they don't have those big expenditures every quarter.
So just a wonderful example of how using a team that has a good understanding of business and also has a good command of design and website, that's part of what CoreCube brings to the table. So, well, I'm going to change. Danielle, are you finished showcasing those two? And if so, I'll change to Tammy.
I am.
And
Thank you.
Tammy, you ready, Tammy?
I am.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to Tammy now and let her show you her two favorite websites that we have designed in ExpressionEngine.
All right. And I will say my ultimate favorite really is also that AACG. That was just a fun job to get to plan and watch that thing come to life. But Live Free was the first ExpressionEngine site I got to work on with Danielle at CoreCubed. And so it definitely has a special place in my heart. And when Jason came to me, the client, he wanted a site that was different than any other home care site. He did not want to use white. He wanted very warm and friendly, and he wanted to emphasize the geographic area, like the region where they are, which is up in New Hampshire. And he's an avid outdoorsman and also a wonderful photographer. And so we worked with him, got his photos that he liked, and did this color palette where there is very little white, and achieved what he wanted. And each main segment of the site has a different photo that's used in the top, and we kept the same overall structure, but it's just a very simple site to navigate and get to where you need to go based on what you're looking for. And this client is also a MOST member, and so in the resources area, we do have a way to showcase all of the topics that he's chosen over the last 18 months or so since he's been a member. And he also does have a blog, which he does make an effort to make sure that that's populated on a regular basis. We actually do that for him based on the topics that he chooses. So everything is very pertinent, to his industry, what he does. It cross-links back into the site, and just overall, I think a very well-designed site. And then another one that I really like a lot is Open Arms, which is another home care agency. And when they came to us, they actually had seen the Live Free site and really wanted that warm, inviting look, but they had a totally different color palette. And so, and they also did not want to use senior pictures. And so after, working with the client on other projects as well, not just the website, we came up with their branding. And the site, the client really wanted to have video as much as possible within the site as they get videos done. And they also wanted to be able to have people get to different areas of the site just by traditional navigation, but also, again, cross-linking. And in this case, SEO was very heavy because there's a lot of competition in the Chicago area. And so we had to really work this site heavily from an SEO standpoint, which ExpressionEngine does allow. And one thing we got to do here on the resources is the resource library, we were able to categorize the topics that they're choosing as a MOST member and be able to take each topic and fit them into one or more categories. So as the visitor is on the site looking for things, they can go to, a certain category that they like and or that they're interested in, and then drill down into the topics versus one big list of topics. And they also do have a online application form, which as people fill this out, it gets emailed to the client. And then in addition, it is stored in the back end in ExpressionEngine, and that can be exported to an Excel file. And say they get a big wave of applicants in or inquiries in. We have the same thing on the contact us. They can go into the back end and pull down those entries from a certain time period and then pull them into Excel and manipulate those however they want.
And I will say that I haven't heard anything about Open Arms in there. I know they're their internet traffic is up, but when Live Free went live, it was, I think, in the first couple of weeks, Jason actually had clients who called and signed up for service because, without looking at any of the competition, simply because of what they saw on this website. So I think that is certainly something that, that's the reason why people obviously have a business website, is so people will, people will schedule service. So.
And that still happens to this day. He still lets us know, and so he gets a lot of compliments on his site and how warm it is, but also how easy it is to find the information. So design's very important, but I also think how your information is displayed and how you get to it, and not cramming pages full of content, really breaking them out into sections is, you do what you can do to make it a better user experience as well.
Yes, very, very, very good points, and absolutely gorgeous web design. So thank you. Well, I'm gonna take this back, if I can do this, and I'm trying to do that. Let's see. Here we go. I think I've done this. All right. Let me see if I can get us back where we need to be. All right. Here we are. Questions and answers from the audience. So this is the time right now for you all to put your questions in, and let's see what we have here. What does it cost? That's a good question. What costs are we looking for to do a site in ExpressionEngine?
As a project manager, I'll answer that. Basically, there's a lot of determining factors into what cost, encompasses, or what it would be. But a good range, I think on the low end, you're probably looking at $5,000, and on the upper end, you could be $10,000, $12,000. It's really going to depend on the complexity of the programming that needs to be done in the back end to make certain things happen in the site that you're wanting to happen. Or from a design standpoint, do you want one-page design or do you want four-page design? So there's some flexibility in how the site houses content based on what those content needs are in the site. And then also the whole copywriting thing, are we going to do it, or are you as the client going to do it? And then the SEO, what level of SEO is needed?
I have a question here where someone actually wants to see how easy it is to edit by going into the back end of a website. Danielle, can we do that without violating, client confidentiality? Do we have an ExpressionEngine?
We can do that on our site.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay. You want to let me change the presenter back to you. Tell me when you're ready.
Let me pull up. I'll just pull up a general content page.
Are you ready for me to give you the presenter?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. We'll give you that in just a minute. Because I have some more questions about cost, but I thought this might be something that people would be interested in seeing, how easy it actually is to go in and do edits. I think the one thing that shocked me about ExpressionEngine, though, is when you do that edit, it is live. that was my first, for when I did my first ExpressionEngine edit, because I'm used to working in WordPress where you have a draft first and then it doesn't go live. So.
Oh, right. Well, that can be measures set in place where it doesn't go live.
Right. No, I know that now.
The standard
you've
functionality.
Done that.
Yes.
Right. So tell me when you're
ready. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. I'm giving it to you now. All right. There you go.
Okay. So this is a little bit of what the back end would look like once you are logged in, and I'm looking at the main edit page. So when you go to this section, you can filter through specific sections of the site you want to edit. Now I've chosen blog, so this is going to show all of our recent blog posts. And here's one that I had written. So when you click on here, what you get is a publish page. And on the publish page, there's a number of things that go along with a blog post. For instance, all of the copy that goes along with the blog post. On our pages, we're only showing a short snippet about the blog before you get to the main blog post, so that's what this teaser is for. But as you can see, there are just some simple editing features in here, to make things bold or underlined or italic. So it's very easy. This would be the same as if you were just, typing into a Word document or into a text editor. You can just come in here and type away. And, when you hit enter, it takes you to another paragraph, and you can continue to type again. You can highlight things and make them bold. You can make them underlined. You can have them linked to something, another website somewhere else, or you can have it linked to a file that you already have on the server, or you can upload a file, for instance, if you're linking to a PDF document. So this is a little taste of what the back end looks like. Now, one thing that could vary per site are these sections that you're editing. ExpressionEngine gives us the ability to specify what sections you want on each page. So this can get pretty detailed. But for a blog page, it's pretty basic. All we really need is the blog text, a little bit of a teaser, and if the blog has a photo related to it, and then, of course, we can designate who the author of the blog was. So that's how you edit a page.
Yeah, and I will mention that, and Danielle alluded to this, this setup was how we wanted our blogs to show. So we chose everything that you see here, the title, the URL title, the body, the teaser, all of those things were all programmed in because we knew exactly what we wanted our blog page to look like.
Right, and this goes with the planning that Tammy was discussing, because you could come to us and say, well, we want to create a photo gallery, and this publish page would be built specific to something like that. So it goes along with the planning of what these pages will look like whenever you come in to edit.
Right. Do me just one favor. Go up to CP Home, because when we log in to make changes, we go into there's a screen that allows you, and then you see you have the Create, which I don't touch because I'm not the designer, and I go to Modify or Delete, and then it gives me an option of what I want to modify or delete. And usually, because I'm simply interested in an entry, either a blog entry or doing something within the site, maybe adding an event or something like that. So then you go to the entry, and then you get to pick what it is, what category you want to edit, and then the next thing you see is a screen that has what's open and what's closed, and then you get to make those choices about what you want to modify. So it's very easy, it's very intuitive, it's very user friendly. So it really is amazingly easy.
Right, and there are little tools and tweaks we can always build in, to make it even more user friendly if people do run into obstacles. But most of the standard pages that you're editing are very basic. You really just have your body text, and you have an editor there to help you customize how it's going to look. And this section here under Create is where you would go to create a new page. So if you were creating a brand new blog entry, it would go here, or a brand new page under the About Us section. That's what you're doing there. So you're kind of starting fresh. And then Modify is where you're editing something that's already in place.
Right. Thank you. Very, very good.
Problem.
Okay. All right. I will come back to me now, and I will go back to questions. I just got another audience question, and the question is, so if we have already built someone's website, and if they purchase ExpressionEngine, will our content automatically be accessible to edit?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
That is a yes and a no. If you already have a website in place and you decided that you want to add in ExpressionEngine as a content management system, what we can do is we would take your current site, we would take the code that was used to build that, and we would break that code down and make it work with ExpressionEngine, and then the content that was on your site would need to be ported over to the database that ExpressionEngine is running from. So the Contempt Glass, the AACG website that we looked at, was a perfect example of that. We built the sections in there, and then they copied and pasted their content off of the old site into the new one so that the copy would be available for them to make edits. So you have the ability of moving everything over, but it does have to be moved from point A to point B.
Right, and I would also like to mention that ExpressionEngine is a very robust program, and if you have a fairly simple website, we also work in WordPress, and WordPress also has the editing capacity, and we do choose different programs based on the complexity and the needs of the client. So we find a lot of our home care clients have a simpler need and have simpler sites. I don't mean simple in the terms of what it looks like when you look at it. I mean in terms of functionality. So, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but so ExpressionEngine may not be the right answer for everyone. There may be another answer that would suit better. So,
Right.
Tammy, I'm going to go back to cost again and ask this one. Now, what factors influence the cost of a website? You said there was a big range.
Right. Copy. Is it going to be us writing copy from scratch? Are we going to be taking existing copy and editing, or is the copy going to be supplied to us? Photos. Does the client have photos that they want to send us that we will use, or do we need to go search for photos, get those approved, and then purchase those photos to use on the site? How big is the site going to be? Is it an 8-pager, or is it going to be 50 pages? That definitely has some impact on cost. How many page designs do you want? Most sites you see have a home page look and then an inside page look, but more and more sites today you're seeing where there's a unique home page and then you might have 2 or 3 inside page designs based on what that page function is and what you want to happen on that page. And any kind of programming, like the more sophisticated, the photo galleries, the special programming to have forms on the back end that you enter so that, like an event, for an example, all your events are displayed consistently and have the same information in the same spot. So what level of that custom detail needs to be planned and then implemented, when the site is built out.
And what is the estimated time frame to develop an ExpressionEngine site?
4 to 8 weeks, I would say, would be your general rule. Of course, the more complicated the site, the longer it's going to take.
And what kind of training do you provide after the site's complete?
What's included in the cost of the website design, we will do a training at the end after the site goes live, and that typically really only takes about an hour, and it's usually one training session, and it'll take the client through, all the levels of what can be edited and, the different things that you see, very similar to what Danielle just showed a few minutes ago. So it's not, involved training whatsoever. It's a pretty intuitive program.
And after the site is done, do we recommend, or the person saying, do I need to sign up for an ongoing maintenance plan?
It's best if you do, from the standpoint of, with any CMS system, it doesn't matter if it's ExpressionEngine, WordPress, or any of the others out there, you are going to have software updates that are going to come through, and those need to be kept up to date. And then any add-ons that would be on your site that were used to help build the robustness of it also potentially would have updates, and so you need to stay on top of those. And then just maybe, like a quarterly backup of the site, having someone else do that for you to have that site, saved in another location. Obviously, your host will do backups, but, just to kind of play safe. And then any browser edits. As we all, I think, know today, we have many browsers to pick from, and the sites have to be coded so that they display properly across the board on a variety of browsers. And then as browsers put out new releases, you know, if your site's 2 years old, maybe I know Internet Explorer 9 is in beta right now. When that comes out, there's pretty high chance that your older website will not display correctly on a new browser. So, you know, we'll go in on a regular basis and test your site and make any edits necessary to make sure that people can see your site the right way.
Okay, now I have two questions here. One's from a developer, and the other one I don't think understands what we've been talking about today. So I'm going to ask the developer one first. Is, as a developer, how does the templating process for EE compare to that of WordPress?
I'll take that one.
Good.
Well, one of the biggest differences is that in your templates for EE, you really don't have to use PHP at all. And when you're building templates for WordPress, you really need to know PHP, or at least a good bit of it, to really be able to create dynamic templates in WordPress. In ExpressionEngine, once you learn the basic ExpressionEngine tags, which there aren't that many, you can build some pretty robust templates with just HTML, some jQuery if you'd like, for image rotations and things like that. So huge difference there is that you're really just building, once you skin your template, which that means you take the design and you code it into your standard HTML, CSS, then you just kind of plug in a little component and EE tags, and that makes your templates dynamic and makes them work. So it's a lot quicker, a lot simpler, and you do not have to know PHP to do that.
Okay, now this is the one and maybe I don't understand, so I'll read the question. If you plan to only use ExpressionEngine for announcements, not necessarily content change, would you say ExpressionEngine is cost effective?
I'll take that one too. I would say absolutely not. ExpressionEngine would be overkill for something like that. If you're just looking to have a simple little section of the site, like for instance just a news feed or just some announcements that you would want to be able to edit and add on to, we offer some other solutions. And you can go to our site and submit a request through our contact form, and we could definitely help you with some other options for something like that. But ExpressionEngine would be overkill for something that small.
Okay, good. That is the end of our questions. I do want to mention that our very next webinar is really the effectiveness of good text and good copy on a website. And websizing is a word that I sort of made up because years ago, I mean, we've been doing websites since 1998. And in the beginning, and Tammy mentioned a brochure site, people are still doing that, taking a brochure and just throwing it onto the web. But the point is that that is not the way to build a website. That the website, by nature, the Internet is interactive. And so because of that interactivity, very important how you use words. And they're used in a variety of different ways. So we have Danielle and Tammy joining us again for this webinar. And then we have Will Chatham, who's our web manager, and Leanne Hoyer, who is our internet marketing specialist. And so the four of them are going to do a panel with me asking questions on February the 23rd from 1 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can actually you can find that on our website at corecubed.com, and we can actually help you with most of your website needs. So that, let me double check that I have answered all the questions. I believe that I have. And let me again thank everyone for attending, because we certainly know your time is valuable and we appreciate your spending it with us. And we will close the webinar now without any further questions. And thank you, Danielle, and thank you, Tammy. Very informative webinar today. And thank everybody, and have a great rest of the week.
You guys, thank you.
Bye.